Good evening. Thank you for very politely moving into the session, even though you had lots of things to talk and enjoy the drinks this afternoon. Welcome to the MAP launch 2013. Vice-Chancellor, distinguished members of the MAP Advisory Board, senior executive of the university, mentors, coaches, and distinguished alumni and friends of the MAP program. Today is really about a celebration of entrepreneurship on campus. And with this kind of view of creating a culture of entrepreneurship, we started this program last year. Before we get into the kind of spirit of entrepreneurship, I would like to tell you a joke, which is actually found through the Google. But why I say it is because Google itself is an exemplary of startup, came out of a research project in Stanford. So we as a premier institution in Australia, we can also create many Googles out of the programs like these. Can anyone tell me what Google stands for?
1 followed by 100 zeros.
There you go. Our entrepreneurs already know what other entrepreneurs have done it, so I don't have to say. It's actually a misspelled word, Google, which stands for 1 followed by 100 zeros or any more than 100 zeros, basically meaning lots of information brought to you. We can't live the world without Google today. So that's really a power of entrepreneurship, how it impacts. So there is a shopping mall advertising 3 shops to be filled, and the manager advertised with a caveat saying, we will actually put up the front signage if you take up this space. So the first client comes in and says, yeah, we're going to be running a menswear. So the manager says, oh, okay, that's fine. You're the first one to come in. And what sign you would like on the front edge? Just menswear, of course. So it's menswear, so that's done. The second client comes along. I want the right side of the store. And we were planning on running a formal men's wear business. So, okay, have a going to all the logistics of the signing the tenancy lease, and the manager asks what signage you would like on the front. And the same, the second client also says, of course, it's menswear. So, okay, well, you might know that there is another menswear business going to be on the left side. No worries, because we are focused on menswear. And the third client comes and then basically talks along the same line and says, so what's the signage it's going to be? Because the manager is worried because it's going to be menswear, menswear, menswear. And so asks the client says, the entrance. So you can see the entrepreneurs in action. So the entrepreneur always searches for a change, responds to it, exploit as an opportunity. So even though the definition of entrepreneurship has been evolving and going away from the traditional stereotyping of greedy, but now it's broadened to incorporate a broader aspects of even societal change as part of entrepreneurship, because they seek to exploit, or they seek to exploit it as an opportunity. So we also wanted to invest in the process of creating culture of entrepreneurship among our graduate staff and alumni. That is our community. We have always been in the kind of business of creating leaders. This is just a refinement of our focus on that. Eventually we would like to create a very thriving ecosystem of entrepreneurship on campus. But so we decided on an experiential learning side of the entrepreneurship, which is the Accelerator Program. So today is really about celebrating last year's success. So you're going to see some of our last year's Entrepreneurial Fellows, how they have been successful so far. And then we're going to be putting the spotlight on our 2013 Entrepreneurial Fellowship teams. To open today's formalities, let me invite Vice-Chancellor Professor Glyn to make the opening address. Professor Glyn, a professor of political science, fellow of Academy of Social Sciences, companion of the Order of Australia, the director of many institutions. Professor Davies also serves as the chair of Universities Australia, and also the immediate past chair of University has 21, and also director of Menzies Centre for Australian Studies at King's College of London. At the University of Melbourne, Professor Davies has championed the university's triple helix model, an aspiration to offer outstanding research, education, engagement, with each strand reinforcing the others. Under his leadership, university has seen almost a generational change in our curriculum, now known as Melbourne curriculum, affectionately known as Melbourne model by some members of the media. Realignment from our traditional undergraduate programs to professional schools at a graduate level, and creating an opportunity to examine very fresh ideas in the tertiary education, rethinking our student services, how we deliver it, and transforming teaching spaces across the campus. This led to major investment in new research infrastructure, renewed emphasis on university's outreach activities such as archives, museums, knowledge exchange. So it is very fitting, under his leadership, we are creating Melbourne Accelerator Program as another focus of creating entrepreneurship culture on campus. Please join me in welcoming Professor Glyn Davies to the podium.
Thank you, Kaz. Thank you very much. It's been a very interesting week to be a professor of political science, but not as exciting as being here for the launch of the Melbourne Accelerator Program 2.0. Can I begin by acknowledging the 5 passionate members of the MAP Advisory Board who've really given generously of their time and their enthusiasm to make this work. The chair, Martin Adams, and Martin's always enthusiastic about everything he's involved in, but I'm just delighted to see Martin involved with this. Lenny Mayo, Paul Hollyoak, Darryl Wade and Tony Glenning. Thank you all for your leadership and your really sage advice and for making this so successful. Can I acknowledge the co-deans who are involved? Paul Kaufman is the Dean of the Faculty of Business and Economics, and I know he's here because I saw him somewhere in the foyer before, and Yvonne Mariels, who's our Dean of Engineering. Now, sadly, Yvonne can't be with us tonight, but many of you know how important his leadership has been in making sure that MAP gets underway, and it's already, I think, one of the best examples of a university-led entrepreneurial program. And I'm just delighted to see business and engineering working together. There's a natural synergy there that's powerful, and it's just great to see that happening. And I also want to acknowledge Dr. Charlie Day, who began this process. Now, Charlie entirely appropriately is enjoying a week's break after we worked him incredibly hard this week. I know he was very disappointed to be away the week that MAP 2013 was launching, but for those of you who've encountered Charlie, there's no more enthusiastic person on this campus about entrepreneurship, about innovation, and who has so got involved personally mentoring many of the teams and encouraging individuals. It's sorry that he's not here, but I know he's with us in spirit. Now, none of you need persuading that entrepreneurship and innovation are absolutely central to our future. Indeed, I enjoyed the headline in The Age the other day, "Geeks oust miners as Australia's new rich." The article went on to argue that tech startups, but just as importantly biotech startups, are leading the way in transforming Australia from being principally a mining and primary industries nation. And while that might be a little optimistic at this point, nonetheless, I think without doubt it shows us where the future's going. We will continue to be an exporter of iron ore, but we can also be an exporter of so much more, and that's what this program makes possible. The investment we put into research in universities and other institutions, and in turn the connections we build with students and entrepreneurs and graduates and all of the people in the room are what will make us a great nation into the future. And that's as true whether we're working with a very small startup or whether we're working with an international organisation such as IBM. The more brilliant people who become involved, the more we'll see a virtuous cycle of an ecosystem of entrepreneurship, rigorous education and research and technical training, then encourage innovation and people taking that out into the world. And one of the exciting things about this program already is that we can see that the range of projects, they're not all IT projects, they're actually across a whole range of disciplines, and indeed IT is typically the enabler and the platform rather than necessarily where we're going. It's just fantastic to watch, and even for those of us from a social science background, who just get such a thrill out of seeing these bright people, enthusiastic about what they want to do, able to see the future, and with a whole set of great suggestions. It's compliments to the Faculty of Engineering for initiating this, to Business and Economics for joining them, to the brilliant people who've got involved in the program as mentors, as advisory board members, and utterly importantly, as participants. It's a delight to be part of tonight's launch of MAP 2013.
Thank you, Glyn, for nice words. Out of order, and I actually would like to put the advisory board on spotlight again. I just want to invite Martin to say a few words, or at least their reflections of the MAP. Martin Adams. Martin is a very successful entrepreneur and has held many senior executive positions, including CEO, directorship of many entities, and currently also the chair of Australian America Leadership Dialogue. And Martin has been able to bring together very powerful people behind the MAP Advisory Board. Please welcome Martin.
Well, thanks very much, Tash. I'm not the chairman of the American Australian Leadership Dialogue. I'm the executive director, but thank you for those kind words and a very warm welcome to everyone. This is a very important initiative that the university has undertaken. Our future is not assured, as Glyn spoke about, and really for us to continue the standard of living that we've been enjoying and pass on the benefits of this wonderful country to our children, we need to think creatively. We need to think out of the box, and imagination and creativity are just key to our future. But that's not enough. We also need courage to act on it. And those two ingredients are what entrepreneurship is all about. And all of you have got the benefit to be part of this program. I'm very strongly supported by my fellow directors, who are all entrepreneurs in their own right. They're all Melbourne University graduates. We want to make a culture change in how people think about the tertiary education. If we look at Stanford or Silicon Valley or New York, the alley as they call it, what have they got that we don't? Smart people, we've got them too. Money, we've got it too. The bit that we've been missing is mentorship. We don't have enough examples of people putting back in and helping people get launched. And this program is all about that. So for those of you who are participating, whether you got funding or not, actually is not the most important thing. The most important thing is you're partaking in it and you have access to a great network of people who are willing to lend their time and their energy and expertise to you. So make the most of it, be creative, be courageous, and line yourself up with the very best people and advice you can, and you'll be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, for very nice words on the program and the people involved. With removing all the filler acts, now we're going to go to the core of the program. So now is really the person who has actually been helping us in a lot, Rohan Bergman. As Martin pointed out, we've made sure from the day one, everything this program touches is being guided by the people who practice the art of entrepreneurship. So we're really fortunate to have Rohan Workman, who is an entrepreneur himself, founded a very successful online rostering company, and being able to dedicate his time and passion to help us run the program. Rohan.
Thanks, Thas. I'm glad we've got the guys recording it tonight because I don't think I'm going to be too often referred to as the core of the program and afterwards, so thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start by welcoming the Vice-Chancellor and thanking him for his time. I think it's a very strong indication of the support from the senior leadership that entrepreneurship and innovation is a key part of what this university is about. Professor Paul Kaufman, the Dean of the Faculty of Business and Economics, Professor Peter Scales, Deputy Dean of the Melbourne School of Engineering and MAP Advisory Board, Martin Adams, Paul Hollyoak, Darryl Wade, Lenny Mayo and Tony Glenning. MAP mentors and applicants, university staff and students, And those from RMIT, Swinburne, Monash and Deakin, welcome. I know you're here. And for it is somewhat, it's completely unfortunate and very ironic that two of the most important people in getting MAP off the ground can't be here tonight. Professor Evan Reels, the Dean of the Melbourne School of Engineering, and Dr. Charlie Day, the Program Director for Carlton Connect. Evan is in China for business, and Charlie is in Bali for pleasure. But both are very disappointed they couldn't be here tonight. There's been a tremendous amount of development in the Australian startup ecosystem in the past 2 years. And this is evidenced by a number of things on the ground, things like co-working spaces popping up across the country. Places like Inspire 9, YBF and the Hub in Melbourne alone are important places for entrepreneurs and those looking to join the entrepreneurial community to come together. And a shout out to Get Viable out here, who are also working from from YBF, who are one of the suppliers to MAP. And we're very pleased that we can support the entrepreneurial ecosystem and therefore rely on other startups in the community to help us run our program. We're seeing more accelerator programs pop up across the country. Corporates like ANZ, Optus, Telstra and Wesfarmers have all launched programs to either invest in startups or to encourage them along the way through accelerator programs or incubator programs. We're seeing more successful startups come out of the Australian startup ecosystem, and as a result of this, we're seeing more press, not just on startups themselves, but also the role of tech and innovation in Australia's future. And the result of this is an increased amount of momentum in the Australian startup ecosystem and an increased amount of knowledge in the Australian ecosystem, which can further fuel greater success. Competitive advantages are not just relevant to businesses, they are also relevant to countries, to universities, to accelerator programs, and to football teams. We all know what Essendon's competitive advantage is. That one's controversial, I can tell. But previously, our competitive advantage has been resources, things in our ground that other countries don't have, which we can dig out. And these, obviously, resources isn't going to last forever, but it may continue for many years. But at the same time, we do need to prepare for the future. Asia has manufacturing. New Zealand has sheep farming. But what do we have? And what will be our competitive advantage as we move into the future? What we have is a proven track record of creating great, globally successful yet locally grown businesses. Companies like 99 Designs, Atlassian, Retail Me Not, BigCommerce and Seek are all phenomenally successful locally grown businesses. And it's not just businesses themselves, but also technology that's been created and then is the back of a business that has been successful from Australia. Many of you may know that the black box flight recorder was actually invented from technology in Australia, the bionic ear. And more recently, Wi-Fi was developed from technology at CSIRO. It is part of our national narrative to be inventive. But we need to do more. Resources won't last forever. And the University of Melbourne, as a leading national university, needs to do more. I've mentioned the thriving startup ecosystem in Australia, but what is our role in that startup ecosystem and what assets do we have that we can bring to the table? Well, they're pretty easy. We've got a cluster of knowledge. We've got phenomenally talented and educated people across a multitude of disciplines, all located in the one suburb. We've got alumni networks, and many of you are here tonight. We've got connections to industry and government, and a powerful brand that is known not just in Australia, but also overseas. And all of these things are incredibly helpful to a startup. And we haven't begun to leverage that too much until now, and we're hoping to leverage that a lot more into the future. So given the national agenda to raise levels of entrepreneurship and the unique assets that the University of Melbourne can bring to the table, MAP is our take on how to address that national challenge. MAP's vision is to raise the culture of entrepreneurship on campus, and many of you would have heard me talk about that previously. The format for MAP is that the first half of the year is about raising the awareness of MAP and educating and upskilling prospective applicants to MAP so they can give themselves the best possible opportunity to participate in MAP. And we have the selection process itself. Tonight marks the transition into the second half of MAP, which is a structured accelerator program for those adjudged the best 6 startups, where we provide shared office space, funding, mentoring, and access to experts. We've also got a number of mentor events and public forums, a launch party, and of course the demo day at the culmination of the program. But the vision is to raise the culture of entrepreneurship, and we're not going to do that if we only celebrate the success of the 6 startups who get an entrepreneurial fellowship. We had 53 applications this year, and we're doing a lot more this year to support those entrepreneurs who applied to MAP but couldn't get in. Because we can't provide the office space or the funding, but we can provide our ears and access to networks and mentoring. And as anyone who works in the industry, be it even the startup investment community or even at a corporate level, you need to adopt a portfolio approach, and no one can tell you every time which companies are going to be good investments. Part of what the advisory board has been tasked with is coming up with some metrics to measure the performance of MAP, and some of them are around engagement. So, in 2012, we had an information night and 3 workshops in the lead up to selection, at which we had a total of 172 attendees. This year we had 461. Last year we had 32 applications, and this year we've had 53. So we're starting to see that we are striking a chord with the entrepreneurial community around the University of Melbourne, which is exciting. But we are just getting started. There is a lot more on our agenda for the coming years. Having a summer feeder program for entrepreneurship, which is like a mini MAP without the funding, but in which anyone can partake to even further upskill those who are interested in applying. Student hackathons, plugging students into startups so they can understand firsthand what it is like to work in a business that is just getting off the ground. Hosting major conferences. Last year, we were pleased to launch in the Melbourne School of Engineering, and we are delighted to have the Faculty of Business and Economics on board this year. And we look forward to expanding across other faculties over the coming years to make this a university-wide program. We're going to continue to develop and refine MAP so that it is a world-leading accelerator program. But it does come back to the students. When I was thinking about what I could say tonight, I thought that we need to empower students to challenge the status quo. But when I thought about all the demonstrations on campus, I don't think that's actually relevant. But what I do think we need to do is equip them to challenge the status quo in a startup sense. We need to give them startup smarts so they can identify problems and develop creative and marketable solutions and have a crack at it. Because they've got to risk it to get the biscuit. We've got to give them a network to support them and to let them embrace failure and understand that uncertainty is part of the entrepreneurial journey. Because when you're 22 years old, you can bet it all because you've got time to win it back. You don't probably not have a mortgage or kids or a husband or wife, and if it does all go pear-shaped, then you can get a 9-to-5 job. And what we would like to see is more students adopting entrepreneurship as an alternative career path to working for a corporate. And in fact, the Harvard Business Review actually released an article recently stating that entrepreneurial skills were highly valued in a corporate environment regardless. So we're about to hear from some of the teams who are unleashing their entrepreneurial talent tonight and their entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that the future is in fine hands. But in closing, I would just like to share with you a poem that's provided or proven particularly helpful to me over the past couple of years as I quit a well-paid job to start my own business and become more involved in the startup community. I think many of you will actually have heard of this poem before. Far better is it to dare mighty things and to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much because they live in the grey twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat. Thank you.
Thank you, Rowan. Without your help, I think we will be in a big strife within the MAP program. It's really, you have shaped it and you're really on top of the program, and you continue to impress, get it done kind of mentality, and really appreciate your contribution so far and look forward to working with you. Now to the formal part of actually knowing who these teams have been. I'm going to be a bit ruthless. I have got the alarm, so because this is where we can easily run away in terms of the timing. So I'm going to be very tight with your timing. So you're going to get a beep at 2 minutes, so you have to finish your pitching within 3 minutes, all right? So first, just to give you an idea of what was the program last year. And so we have invited our 2012 Entrepreneurial Fellows to give a pitch as to where the ventures have been. So to start off that first, I would like to invite Venue Mob. It's going to be presented by Ying Wang.
Good evening. My name is Ying. I'm one of the co-founders at venuemob.com.au. What we are, I guess just an easy way to start off is just a summary is that we're the what if but for event spaces, for those who haven't come across VenueMob previously. Our website for anyone looking for an event is venuemob.com.au. The premise of the website is basically to help people find venues for events. We launched the product on June 20th in 2012. In terms of what we do, we work directly with various venues. So think wedding venues, bars, restaurants, art galleries, and those types of spaces. At the same time, we work with event organisers or just anyone looking for a party venue. Think, if you've got a 21st birthday, 30th birthday, a wedding coming up, or an engagement party that you need to find a venue for. We call ourselves personal PAs on two fronts. Firstly, on the website with a product, and then secondly, with an events team who gives personal recommendations for anyone using the website. In terms of our progress, we've been fortunate enough to have raised $450,000 last year in November from the Optus team. So Optus ran a program last year called the Optus Innovate program, which looked to invest in startups in Australia. And there were two teams in the whole of Australia that managed to raise that round of funding with Optus, the other team being One-to-One Cast, which is also a MAP program company. So with that money, we've managed to build a fantastic team. So we start off with obviously a quite small team with zero revenue, no clients, all the rest of that, and now we're up to 14 fantastic people. We've got co-founders, we've got account managers, we've got sales guys, business development, the whole spectrum, just within that 1 year program, and having been through the whole MAP process. We've had multiple iterations of the website, starting off with what we called a venue bot, which is just one of us being on the back end, just sending emails to people, giving them recommendations, to now what is very much an automated website. People can make inquiries directly to venues, get in contact. There's a whole lot of things going on in the back end. In terms of our growth, we're actually in 2 cities now. So we're in Melbourne and Sydney. We've got over 500 clients in both those 2 cities, with over 1,500 function rooms profiled within that space of time. We've also got multiple partnerships set up with companies including Uber, which is one of the hottest startups in the US, and also Eatability, which is one of the biggest food review websites in Australia. Throughout the 1 year period, we've also managed to feature in a couple of mainstream media publications such as news.com.au, The Age, and we've got a little bit of attention from a couple of Southeast Asian tech blogs as well, including Tech in Asia and E27. So that's just a wrap up. The MAP program is a fantastic initiative by the university to promote entrepreneurship amongst young people. I highly applaud the efforts of everyone involved. Hope for a really good year this year.
Thanks for the plug. Now we move to the second team, DC Hybrid Power Systems, led by Brad and Kit. Welcome, Brad.
My name's Braden Kidd, and my startup company is New Wave Power Systems, investigating the use of direct current power transmission within buildings. So unlike the other contestants that were selected in 2012, mine was actually a product and an engineering solution. So we were looking at systems where energy has to be both stored or generated on site. So it's a non-utility scale. It's a very exciting time for in the electrical power industry. There's a lot of changes going on, and most of the focus has been on generating energy more efficiently or consuming it more efficiently. However, all these systems seem to be decreasing the efficiency of the power transmission networks providing them. Given that most of your losses in certain systems are incurred in the transmission system, these systems also need to stay up to date with the kind of equipment that's been connected to them today. So of the two systems we've been looking into, one is for an off-grid system and an on-grid system. The off-grid system, we built a test case earlier this year, and we measured a 42% reduction in energy consumption for an entry-level standalone power system, and this directly translated into a 44% cost saving. Now for our on-grid system, we're looking at the moment for renewable integration within buildings, and also to solve grid stability issues, to increase the uptake of renewable energy for situations where you already have a connection to the grid. Now through the Melbourne Accelerator Program, we're able to connect with other companies, business mentors, advisors, to try to get a system like this off the ground. And the really exciting part about it is that Australia and Melbourne in particular is probably one of the best, if not the best places to get this up and running in the world. So some of the original research that was done in this kind of system was done by Professor Eva Mariels back about 15 years ago. So although there are other researchers around the globe that have tried to look into this and get systems going, originally it started, the oldest research I can find started here right in Melbourne. And this is the best place really where it can start to take off with the advancements that we've made in the grid and our price of energy. It's just it's come time for this system, and that was originally developed by Eva Mariels, and I've been able to improve upon it to try to make it a bit more competitive, and so it's up to the standards and be able to interact with products today. But I'm going to be presenting this at an international conference later this year that's specifically looking for people that have tried to implement this. We're obviously not the first, well, obviously, but we're not the first researchers that have thought, this is a good idea. But the problem is trying to implement a solution. And through the Melbourne Accelerator Program, I've been able to network with a lot of different companies, and that is literally the only way something like this can get up and running. You can't just put this on a shelf and expect it to sell. It will require a lot of different industries to come together and say, yes, this is the best way to do this, the best way to move forward, and this is what we're going to be doing now. So I've been able to been accepted into the Melbourne Clean Tech Network, and they can provide funding and also more mentorship to get this off the ground. And what I'd like to leave you with tonight is watch this space, because something could further come up with this. Yeah.
Braden failed to mention it. His technology and the startup was the finalist in GE Innovation Challenge also last year. So it's a big thing that you've been able to do last year. Now I would like to invite Blue Sky. It was actually, the Blue Sky itself was not the part of the accelerator program. They've actually changed course and actually launched a new startup, Blue Sky. I would like to invite David Ma.
Thanks, Tas. Hi, I'm David. This is Nigel. Towards the end of December 2012, while Unisquare was approaching 50,000 users, what happened was that we were unable to find a sustainable revenue stream for the company. and we had to make a hard decision to close it. And well, we're wondering what we'll tell you today, back then. But fortunately, we got together in February and started a new company called Blue Sky Media Core, next generation business intelligence for the retail sector. We feel very strongly in creating a great retail experience for everyone here in Australia. But we also know that the best way to do it is using data, a data-centric approach in designing a great retail experience. Unfortunately, a lot of large retailers that we've spoken with do not have the sort of in-house know-how or understanding to be data-centric. In fact, 16 out of 20 of the top retailers do not even have a mobile app. So that's where we started. Our first product, which we launched a month ago, called Blue Sky for iPad, gave all 20 of them mobile presence on the iPad. In fact, we actually launched more than 105 retail products from 105 retailers. And retailers love this because they're able to get unparalleled insight into customer behavior to make decisions. And customers love this. I just checked this morning, we got 4.5-star ratings from 62 ratings. And we've achieved 30,000 downloads in the first month. 4 million page views. We're very excited with the response. And right now what we're doing is we're raising round A financing. We bootstrapped for about 6 months now, and we think it's time to expand. So we're looking to raise $600,000, and $310,000 has been committed by co-investors. And if you're an investor and you're interested to change the retail landscape in Australia and beyond with us, we'd love to speak with you after this event. And for the Blue Sky team, we're just getting started. Thank you.
So you can see the model of the accelerator model working in progress. If you don't succeed in one, it gives you the essential work was behind going for the next one. Well done, guys. Let me invite the one-to-one cast, the fourth Entrepreneurial Fellow team. It's going to be presented by Andrew Armstrong.
So I have no slides, so it's all good. My two co-founders are currently overseas in America. One's actually taking a much-needed break. That's what I'll do on Friday. And the other one has actually been doing some fundraising and helping create some more partnerships for us. So I'm Andrew from One-to-One Cast, and we started this company about 12 to 14 months ago to basically revolutionize radio. We want to make it personal. So that means you wake up in the morning and it says, hey, good morning. Here's the weather, news, email, podcasts, music you like, and all that sort of stuff. So we launched an app called SoundGecko to begin with. SoundGecko was really simple, and all it did was read news articles to you. Since we finished MAP, we grew from about 50,000 users to 150,000 users, and we've got thousands of dollars of revenue coming in each month. Costs a little bit more than it makes, but it's still okay. Since then, though, all our effort has really been focused on our upcoming mobile app called Aloud. Aloud as in your life aloud, your friends, news, weather, and all that sort of stuff. It's coming together really well. We've got so much more to do, but there's only about 4 months until we release, and we're really excited about that. So we've been working on a few things like content partnerships. We've actually been able to talk with some really high-profile radio personalities, content providers, including ABC, BBC World News, a lot of radio show personalities, several of those in Australia. So we're getting all this content stuff sorted, which is really exciting. And we've also been working on the technology and design and platform as well to get all that sorted. To do that, we've been hiring. So since MAP, we've been able to hire 3 people, lost 1 to go back to America. We have casuals that help us out from time to time, and even some friends that do some part-time work for us. It's really, really awesome to have that support. And just listening to the other guys too, like about how the community helps them, just bouncing ideas off each other. I met with Dave. We just bounced about ideas for our app and his app last week. It's really cool to have this like ecosystem that's helping everyone just basically be awesome and like build an amazing company and yeah, like exploit, like as Tass said, exploit changes that you can see and try and build a company out of them. We're about 4 months away from release. We've got so much more to do, but it's still really exciting. And I can't wait till the two of my co-founders get back, so then I can go on a break. But yes, thank you.
Those of you there actually wanting to be entrepreneurs, you can see even entrepreneurs take break, have pleasure. So it's all about balancing work and life. The one-to-one cast didn't mention, but I think Venue Mob guys mentioned, they were also the second team, the only second team to win the Singtel Innovation Challenge. So you can see out of 4 entrepreneurial teams, 2 have been recipients of investment before their graduation. The third one has been the finalist in another externally run innovation challenge by a very big multinational such as GE. And fourth one was able to pivot into a very successful company already. With that, we have set a reasonably high benchmark for the upcoming team, so no pressure, guys. So just so let me introduce you the 2013 teams. Again, I'm going to be ruthless. 3 minutes. The buzzer will come on 2 minutes. So the first one to start off the presentation or the pitch is going to be the Price Geek, presented by Dean Maggie.
Thanks so much. So I'm Dean. These are my co-founders, Scott and Lauren. We're the Price Geek. So I recently bought an iPhone 5 off eBay and I paid about $700 for it. At the time I thought that was a great price. About a week later, I found the same eBay seller selling an almost identical iPhone 5 for $500. I was a bit annoyed. But see, that's the problem with online shopping. How do you know what a fair price is? Whether it is you want to buy golf clubs or you want to buy handbags or an iPhone. How do you know if you're getting ripped off? Or how do you know if you're getting a great deal? It's a problem, and the Price Geek, that's something we've solved. So before you buy online, go to thepricegeek.com, type in what you're after and hit enter. It collects price data from all over the internet and calculates what a fair price for your item should be. The information is displayed in a way that's clear and easy to understand, and if you scroll down, you can find the best deals on offer at the moment. So I guess the obvious question is, how do we make money? Well, we've got 2 ways. Firstly, affiliate sales. For every link that's clicked on, we get paid. For every outbound link that converts into a sale, we get a cut of that money. The affiliate marketing industry is estimated to be worth about $4 billion annually, and retail makes up about 40% of that. That's our immediate market that we're targeting right now. But we've also got plans to expand to other areas, like cars and other automobiles. Secondly, the data that we're collecting is extremely valuable. We know exactly what someone wants to buy, how much they're willing to pay, as well as when they have actually bought something. Now, this data is really valuable. It can be sold to online retailers, eBay merchants, or market researchers. We are conscious about people's privacy, and we do care very much about this, especially given what's happened recently. All the data is collected in a way so that the end user is completely anonymous. So our competition falls into 2 main categories at the moment. You've got the older price comparison websites, but for the most part, they're a bit daggy and outdated. Their usage has been declining steadily for the past couple of years. We've also got the newer price valuation websites, but they tend to focus more on their blog, and their search function just isn't that good. We're beating them both in search functionality and accuracy. Part of the reason why we've been successful to date is we've got an awesome team. We've got Scott the programmer, Lauren the designer, and myself the marketer. We build fast, we're lean, we've worked on projects in the past, we've also failed previously and learned about business the hard way. To date, we've acquired over 50,000 users, we've generated over $12,000 in affiliate sales and been featured on the Lifehacker, the Next Web, and Thrillist. We've got an exciting future. Right now, we're expanding into multiple product verticals, so you can now search for cars. Just type in Honda Civic or Toyota Camry. Over the next few months, our priorities are going to be marketing, so driving as much traffic to our website as possible, and also improving our search function. So right now, we're actually looking for our first hire. So if there's anyone out there with experience in search algorithm design, or knows anyone who is, come have a chat to us. We're really keen to hear what you have to say. So that's us from the Price Geek. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. From that, we're going to go to Ebla. So let me invite Joseph Valente.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Joseph Valente. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ebla, and we're a platform for legal research. So a bit of a story as to how this idea came into being. I was a researcher at the law faculty of Monash University, doing some research for the dean and the associate dean there. And I used to get requests like, Joseph, go and find me the latest on work choices. I'd say, okay, that's fairly straightforward. I'll just go to this search engine that retails for about $200 a month. It's pretty expensive. Surely it will know how to do the job. And I type in work choices, and up comes absolutely nothing that's relevant. So the bottom case was actually the case that was overruled by the work choices case. The rest is a variety of things. I'm not really sure how they're relevant to my query. So I went on to Ausly, which is a free service that the University of New South Wales put out because LexisNexis was so bad. And I type in work choices and I get the same thing. It's, well, this is not really relevant at all. Where's my search query? Where's the case? So I came up with Ebla. Ebla is a really, really simple platform. You type in work choices, you get work choices. You can get the legislation, the case, relevant academic papers, relevant expert commentary and blogs and so forth. And as you can see, the faces of all the experts under there, it's a live platform, so it's constantly getting all of the right stuff that you need to be searching for. So why do experts love Ebla so much? Well, the existing publishing process doesn't really capture a lot of the value that they put out. A lot of these people have to wait often a year for their publications to appear in print, or if they write on a blog, it's lost and it's really difficult to find. So even a lot of that academic knowledge, especially that is captured in these journals, is very, very expensive. So like I said, LexisNexis retails at $200 a month, and that's out of the price range of a lot of people, and increasingly the universities themselves. So we solve both these problems. We've got a flexible, easy solution that anyone can use. It allows experts to get their content out there really quickly, and it allows users to find it really easily. We're operating in a huge market. It's worth about $8 billion US, and we've already got traction. So this really innovative university on the other side of town has already put their law faculty on board, and we'd love to talk to some people at Melbourne about doing that as well. So we've also got some prominent Melburnian legal bloggers who are testing it in private beta, and we'll be presenting it at an academic conference later this year. We've also got an awesome team, if I don't want to say so myself. So I'm the CEO, lawyer, self-taught Python developer, 2 times entrepreneur in the university space. My last startup is now powering the student platform of Open Universities Australia. Jason Lim, our COO, extensive venture capital experience, running York Butter Factory at the moment, the nerve centre of the Melburnian tech community. And our CTO, Adam Newman, is a very, very capable Python developer who's got 3 years experience working at a US legal tech giant. So we'd love it if you could help us out. We're currently looking for some more referrals throughout the Group of 8 network of law schools, and we're really looking to bed down some longer term, more strategic partnerships with universities. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, Joseph. Fair competition, we can take it, no problems. Next team is SwatchMate. George is going to present on behalf of the team. Welcome, George.
Okay. Hey everyone, I'm George. I'm from SwatchMate, and today I'd like to talk to you about colour and how we're bringing it into the 21st century. SwatchMate makes it incredibly easy to capture beautiful colour in the real world. We're kind of like Shazam, but for colour. But why colour? Well, colour means a lot to humans. We use it every day to say something important about ourselves to each other. And that's why it matters so much when we find the perfect colour, because we want to capture it. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is once you find the perfect colour, there is no good way to capture it. If you use a camera, it's inaccurate. If you judge by eye, you rarely get the right color, and you can't always take a physical sample from the surface. And once you've found the perfect color, it's really easy to lose. We're solving that by using the simplicity of a smartphone and the dedicated accuracy of a hardware device. We're starting with the world's smallest color detector. It's really simple to use, one button turn on and you scan instantly. And we're pairing that wirelessly with the world's most colorful app, SwatchMate. Now, that all sounds pretty airy-fairy, so how do we actually use this thing? Well, we've got some great use cases. The first one is if you're a renovator, you can match color to paint. If you're a designer, you can grab beautiful color values and import them into digital canvases. If you're a photographer, you can calibrate your monitors. And for the visually impaired, SwatchMate opens up the world of color with audio cues to tell you the difference between a $10 bill and a $20 bill. So, how about our competition? Well, we've got two main competitors, X-Rite and Node. X-Rite's the main competitor in this space, but their product is outrageously expensive and retails for over $500. That's because they have a complex solution with complex parts. Our other competitor, Node, is a kind of a jack of all trades. They give you color values, but they also give you air pollution, temperature, and even radioactivity. It all adds up to over $200, and we think that's because they don't focus on color. SwatchMate, on the other hand, your passport to the world of color, guess what? 4 ticks. That's right. That's because we're incredibly accurate thanks to our developed algorithms and hardware. We're incredibly simple thanks to our supported software and smartphone support. And because we've radically simplified the electronics used to do this kind of thing, SwatchMate would retail for under $50. And we think that's the massive differentiator between us and our competitors. Now, in terms of the market, many people love color, and that's represented in the diversity of our target market. We've got renovators and painters and artists and graphic designers, interior decorators and architects. We're projecting to sell 50,000 devices in our first year, giving us a first-year annual turnover of $2.5 million. But to get there, we need great traction, and we're well on our way. We've got state and federal government grants in the pipeline that we use to recoup patenting and manufacturing costs. We've been running a super successful industry test program with designers, artists, and painters, and that's led to over $2,000 of initial purchase orders. And we're looking to rapidly expand that out to the public directly by going through Kickstarter. So, we're a small but dedicated team of friends from the university. We finished engineering together. Paul Peng is our algorithm and financial wizard. Rocky is our tech genius, and I'm looking after design. Now, one thing I want you to come away with from this is just to be excited by color. We love color. We think the world needs more color, and we need that excitement to have a really successful Kickstarter campaign, so we'd really appreciate your help with that. We love color. I'm George. Come talk to us after the talks. See ya.
So we are all colorblind without SwatchMate. Let's move to the next team. You can see it's a Cortera Neurotechnologies. It's going to be presented by Ricky Muller and Simone Gambini. Welcome, team.
Thanks, Tad.
Hi, this is Simone Gambini. I'm Ricky Muller, CEO of Cortera Neurotechnologies. Imagine you're one of 65 million people in the world with epilepsy, or that you're one of 20 million that are unresponsive to any medication currently on the market. Your only hope for a cure today would be to have the portion of your brain that's seizing surgically removed. But before you can have that surgery, you would first undergo another surgery, where a large portion of your skull is removed, and a grid of sensors is placed over your brain to take recordings that figure out which portion of your brain is seizing. Now, there's nothing smart about these sensors. They're metal pads connected up through many wires to large hospital equipment, and you would remain in the hospital for up to 3 weeks, unable to move, and at great risk of infection. In order to completely transform this pre-surgical workup, we've assembled a world-class team of engineers, all with PhDs from UC Berkeley, and Simone here is a lecturer at the University of Melbourne. Our solution replaces those large wired sensors with a small wireless implant. The fully wireless readout allows the surgeon to close up the surgical site, nearly eliminating the risk of infection. Our sensors are 100 times higher density, allowing us to locate the seizure site much more accurately. And since the device is only 1 centimeter wide and less than 1 millimeter thin and flexible, it can be implanted through a small burr hole rather than full-blown brain surgery. The technical risk of this project is mitigated by the fact that all of the main technical components, the electrodes, the integrated circuit, and the antennas have been developed during the PhDs of the co-founders and have been implanted and tested in animals. Provisional patents have been filed on all of these technologies within the last year. Now, the epilepsy market is worth $2 billion, but requires FDA approval before we can tap into it, which can take approximately 8 years. In the short term, we plan to generate revenue and fund our clinical trials by targeting the animal research market. We have a competitive advantage in this market since a wireless device will enable completely new experiments that can't be performed today. Not only can we generate tens of millions of dollars in revenue in this market, but we can enter it within the next year. Over the next decade, many new technologies will emerge that require a neural interface. Our technology has recently been featured in the New York Times and in San Francisco Magazine as an enabling technology that can enable turning thoughts into speech and into movement. And once FDA approved, our device will be perfectly positioned to be central to all of these technologies. So thank you very much for your attention. I invite anyone in healthcare technologies to come talk to us, or even if you're just interested in our applications or our technology, we'd love to talk to you.
So you can see from Berkeley to Melbourne to Accelerator Program in Melbourne. So we look forward to seeing you participate in the program. Next team is Tuma Robotics, is headed by Marita Cheng. Welcome, Marita, to present. Marita is the Young Australian of the Year.
The suspense. Ooh. Hi, we're Tuma. Hi, I'm from Tuma Robotics. My name is Marita Cheng and I'm the CEO. Our aim is to have a robot in every home. And we're beginning this endeavour through targeting the quadriplegic market. It's really tough being a quadriplegic. Carrying costs alone cost around $250,000 a year in Australia and $550,000 a year in the US. Imagine that you can't even go to the fridge to get a Coke out. Imagine if your eyebrow's itchy and you can't even scratch it. What quadriplegics crave the most is independence. Through making a voice-controlled, through the iOS system, robot arm, we can give them this independence. In order to find out what it was that quadriplegics really wanted, we went out and spoke to them, working with the Spinal Cord Injuries Association and the Australian Quadriplegics Association. We ran focus groups and sought out quadriplegics to speak with. We found out they're interested in functionality, they're interested in discreteness, and they're interested in aesthetics. Through using the iOS, quadriplegics can program their favourite tasks into their iPhone and iPad. And through having a camera embedded at the end of the arm, they'll be able to see where their arm is going on their iPad. In terms of discreteness, the robot arm can fold up really nicely, meaning that it can be tucked away on the arm of their wheelchair. And in terms of aesthetics, my designer and I are working very hard this month on creating a really attractive case. So how do we stack up against our competitors? Very well, obviously. In terms of marketing and sales this year, our aim is to sell 200 of these robot arms in pre-orders, which will give us revenue of over $1 million this year. In terms of the market size in Australia, 20,000 people have spinal cord injuries. And in the US, UK, and Australia alone, over 300,000 people have spinal cord injuries. But we can also generate revenues not only through retail sales, but through our app store, through a subscription model, and by appealing to hobbyists around the world who will be taken in by the specs of our robots, which are similar to those of similarly priced robots in the market, but offer the iPhone integration and the attractive aesthetics. In terms of our timeline, since we started in April, we've already found 5 customers, developed our first prototype, which you can see lying over here. We're designing the case in April, and we'll start really gunning for pre-orders in August, testing, manufacturing, and aim to get our product out to the consumers by early next year. In terms of the team, I'm entering in MAP as a solo founder. This is my 3rd startup, my 2nd one in the medical field. I was a CEO and founder of RoboGals, which aims to get girls interested in engineering and technology, careers in tertiary studies. I had that role for 4.5 years, and for my work, I was named the 2012 Young Australian of the Year. But this is a big, audacious project, and I can't do it alone. So I have an amazing team. Hock, next to me, he has a first-class master's degree in computer science from Imperial College, London. Louis came 2nd in his year from his electrical engineering degree in UAE. Chris is an honours student in the biomedical field, and Adam has a degree in aerospace engineering. What I ask of all of you is that if you know any quadriplegics or you know of any other use cases for our robot arm, please contact us and let's throw around some ideas. Otherwise, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, so that you can keep up to date with our progress, because it's going to be a really, really exciting year. Thank you. Oh, and just to show you like all the degrees of freedom on our robot arm, it's really, really malleable and like flexible. So it's like mounted onto the arm of a wheelchair like this. So it's like really discreet. And yeah, you can swing it around like everywhere.
Thank you, Marita. Now we go to the last of the entrepreneurial team, Client Catalyst. It's going to be presented by Oliver Costa.
This is James, I'm Oliver. We're Client Catalyst, and we solve lead generation for small businesses. This is Mike. He's an electrician with decades of experience and 4 employees. 5 years ago, Mike had an annual subscription to the Yellow Pages, and that was his marketing done for the year. Today, he has a website. He's tried AdWords, SEO, and Facebook advertising. But digital marketing hasn't made lead generation simpler. In fact, Mike's cost per lead has increased, and now he's stuck with the day-to-day struggle of managing his ad campaigns. Mike wants to be in the office manager's team, or fitting out an office, not poring over Google Analytics. Client Catalyst is the drop-in replacement to lead generation, making it hands-free and cost-effective. We give Mike 3 simple things: a free smartphone website, a GPS-targeted ad campaign, and call tracking, so Mike can monitor the effectiveness of his campaign in real time. Because we manage Mike's full marketing stack, he gets access to the latest digital marketing technology, meaning his lead generation is twice as effective as our next best competitor. Because we have a standard product line, we get Mike's marketing and tracking live within 30 minutes. What that means is that we're easily scalable and we maintain 40% profit margins. We've identified 200,000 Australian small businesses that have best product market fit. Combined, they have an annual marketing budget of $2.4 billion. Within that, we're aggressively targeting the trade verticals like plumbers and electricians because they have marketing budgets of in excess of $1,000 every month. Our biggest competitors are quote marketplaces like OneFlare or HighPages. These guys require daily maintenance and they only cater to low-cost work. In addition to this, are generic AdWords companies like Yodel or Census. They don't create a website for you, lowering conversions, nor do they track phone calls, leaving their customers like Mike guessing at their ROI. Right now, we're in private beta with paying customers. We've already signed up our first third-party reseller, a track group, and we're rolling out the second version of our product. This is James. He's an excellent technical co-founder and has developed the Client Catalyst platform in Node.js. I'm Oliver, and I run sales at Client Catalyst. I've worked as a training manager at a direct sales company, and I've sold marketing solutions to small businesses for the previous few years. We validated the Client Catalyst business model with paying customers, and as we move out of beta, we're ready to rapidly expand. Client Catalyst uses best-in-class digital marketing technology to do lead generation at half the cost of our nearest competitor. We're currently seeking funding, and we look forward to talking to you tonight.
Thank you, team. You can see the entrepreneurship is really about mindset that sees possibilities in any different context. So I think it is true to those who have come in front of you and actually presented their kind of passion and ideas behind their startups. That's pretty much we have today to showcase, and I hope you have a kind of brief taste of what the entrepreneurship program and the Melbourne Accelerator Program actually tries to do. And towards the end of the year, we will actually see the same teams going through our Accelerator Program for a few months and come back and actually demoing their success over the program. So you will be able to see what impact the program had on them. It's also the success of this program you saw from last year's team is not it's a significant credit to the team themselves, but also a massive number of people have come into the program as mentors and coaches. We had touched about 40 plus mentors last year, and their wisdom, experience, the collective kind of know-how actually made a big difference to these teams. And I think without their donation of time and energy into the program, we won't be able to be actually a very successful program as we stand today in front of you. So again, I would like to thank all those mentors and coaches. Some of you are here. I don't want to name them because there's a huge list, but I would like to thank from the heart for their kind of significant donation of time and energy. I promise you this is the last instance. I also would like to thank a number of key individuals from both Melbourne School of Engineering as well as the Finance, Business, Economics. They have been behind helping us to get us connected with the students, staff, and alumni to get the words out about the program, get people to attend to our functions. And again, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to those people who work behind the scenes to get our program going. With that, I would like to thank all those who are here. And again, I don't want to be standing in front of you and the drinks and the nibbles. Please feel free to follow up your discussions with any of the startup teams and others here. Thank you.